Alright guys, welcome to this social media masterclass. I'm Alex from Utopic Labs, and yeah, today I'm gonna give you literally everything that I know about social media. Now, why am I qualified to teach you social media, right? So in 2023, we started a brand called Lifer, and we scaled it from 0 to 900,000 followers in just 7 months, right? This is Gladys right here on the left, and this is me working in an airport when we're going on holiday. And yes, these are the two pages that we have. This is TikTok, and then we have Instagram, and one is at 78,000 followers and the other one at 824. So complexively we are at 900,000 followers. So yeah, that's basically my credentials. I'm not just trying to teach you some stuff I learned online. I'm telling you literally everything that I learned from running these two pages and scaling them from absolutely 0 to over 900,000 followers. Now, these are some of the results. We quickly started seeing these after a few months. So we had 1 million reaches, 10 million reaches. That was actually 11 million views in total. Again, this was on TikTok, 10 million and 17 million. And I'm going to show you more examples of these results as well. And again, you can still check them out. If you go on our pages, you can still see that this is all true. I'm not just making up numbers. I'm not stealing content from someone else. This is generally our results. Right. So in 7 months, we generated 200 plus million views just with organic content. And social media allowed us to, first of all, make our first money online, open our eyes to new opportunities, and connect with big people such as Luke Belmar. As you can see, we got 11.2 million views on this video of Luke, and then 639,000 views on this other one. And obviously that generated loads of leads for him, loads of business, etc. Now, this was one of the DMs that we got from him when we started working together. And yeah. So today I want to show you a proven path to go from 0 to at least 50,000 followers on social media. And I've done it. Many people that we told have done it as well. And I genuinely, truly believe that you can achieve it as well. Now, what this masterclass is not about. So I'm not going to teach you any basic social media yapping. So I'm not going to talk about, hashtags and what's this, and certain things do matter, but not the way that people will explain it to you. And I will tell you exactly why they matter, why they don't matter. I'm not going to teach you some BS we haven't done. So I'm going to teach you exactly what we learned from experience, from, things that we have tested. I'm not going to teach you a get rich quick method. So it does require a lot of consistency. It requires a lot of skill. But I'm giving you everything in this masterclass. And I'm not also giving you a hyper edited video. So as you can see, it's literally just a PowerPoint. I did put a lot of effort into this, but I'm not gonna, show you crazy animations. I'm not trying to teach 15-year-olds. And if you're a 15-year-old watching this and you don't have the patience to go through a 2-hour masterclass, then discipline and consistency and improving your attention span should maybe be your priority at the moment. What I'm actually about to teach you is evergreen proven strategies. So something that you can apply today, tomorrow, in 5 years time, in 10 years time. Obviously things might change, but these are basic marketing fundamentals that you can apply in any social media platform. I'm showing you marketing staples. So as I just said, I'm showing you exactly what you need to be able to scale any account on any platform. I'm showing you human psychology. So again, you can apply this to sell with billboards, right? It doesn't fucking matter. So these human psychology staples will allow you to sell to anyone, no matter the method, the vehicle, you will be able to do it. And finally, unfiltered course, right? So I'm literally showing you what we fucked up on, what we did really well, how is this going to impact you as well, everything that does actually matter for you and the things that don't matter. Now, this is how I basically structured this course. So you have 1 to 2 minute introduction and basic info, and 20 to 25 minutes of specialized info and strategies, right? So yes, I do need to give you some context. So yes, if I'm talking about, I don't know, watch time or let me just think for a second. If I'm talking about how to monetize, well, I might give you the basics because I have to include it. But then I'm also going to give you some things that you might have not thought about, right? So yeah, again, just stick around and I promise you will be worth it. Now, this is the agenda. I'm not going to focus too much on this. You can stop it and read it, but I'm going to add all the timestamps below so you can check that out. Now, what it takes to make it. I just want to give you some mindset stuff as well, because this for us was the most important thing, right? Without this, no matter what you're doing, you will fail. Now, success in any realm is made of mindset and technical skills, right? And without one or the other, you will inevitably fail. Now with Lifer, it took us only a few days to get to 10K followers on TikTok and a few months to reach 500,000 followers. Now, on the other hand, Instagram was stagnating for almost 7 months at 3,000 followers. Now, our goal for the year was to get 50,000 followers on Instagram and 500,000 on TikTok. And by December, we're sitting at 830,000 on TikTok, and we were behind on our target for Instagram. So basically, we were absolutely smashing it on TikTok. We were almost doubling our target. And when it came to Instagram, we were actually falling short. So we were really trying different things, and it was still stagnating. However, we didn't stop posting. We just stayed consistent, and just a week before Christmas, I know the irony, one video reached 11 million views, and overnight the account went from 3,000 followers to over 85,000 followers. And this is exactly the proof. So this was one video that we created with Luke Belmar's content. So it got 11.2 million views. You can see 173,000 saves, 505,000 likes, and 1.6K comments. So again, another thing that you can see here, 99.7% of the people did not follow the page. So this was just purely new people seeing our content, liking it, and just dropping us a follow. So just from this, we got 33,286 followers, and all the next posts all the next reels that we created basically got similar results, and we grew in, I believe, just a week or two to 85,000 followers. So that's just to show that, consistency will eventually pay off. And yes, the content, the strategies, the things that you do with your content will matter, but eventually you also need consistency, right? You can have the right strategy, the right content, but the algorithm just doesn't pick it up for maybe a week, a month, or 2 months, right? So just have faith in your content strategy, have faith in your strategy overall, and if you also add consistency to it, then it will just work. Now, consistency is the only variable that will make you rich and successful, no matter what business model you choose or what's your current situation. And it's the one key variable that got us over 150 million views. That was actually 200 million views complexively, and 6 figures. Now, here's the only difference. Consistency without skills and mindset, it's basically you're going to see some progress, but the progress will just be very linear, right? You won't be able to see much instantly, right? Whilst on the other hand, consistency with skills and mindset, then you will just see far more results far quicker, right? So on the left hand side, you could basically have someone that, yes, is consistent, maybe they're posting shit content, but out of luck, one video would pick up and they will get 1 million views, 2 million views, and their account starts picking up, right? Whilst on the other side, you can have someone that generally knows what they're doing. They also have consistency, and every piece of content will just smash it, right? And I want you to be in the second category. So can you become successful without skills and the right mindset if you're consistent? As I said, yes, but it will take you far more effort and time to get there, and the world changes way too fast for you to have that luxury. That's why companies pay experts to do things for them, because figuring things out themselves will be far too long and costly. And this concept basically applies to you too, right? It applies to business as well as, you growing on social media. Now, this is the exact reason why I created this masterclass, right? So to give you a step-by-step guide on how to finally crack social media, get followers, attention, and eventually money, while skipping any guesswork, right? So All I'm trying to do here is just giving you a map on how to go from absolutely zero, no skills, no nothing, to 50,000 followers on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever it might be that you want to grow. And I'm doing this because I know that so many people might have gone on YouTube, search something, just basic info, just try to do follow for follow, or try to do whatever it might fucking be, right? So I'm just actually giving you information that I have learned from people that are, they have insider information from TikTok, they have insider information from Instagram, and I know exactly how the algorithm works, what are the main things that are promoted, etc. Just on the topic, let's talk about the algorithm. Right. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and any other media platform are first and foremost a business, right? And I want you to understand this. So many people nowadays, they just look at Instagram as like, oh, this is a platform where I just post pictures and I might get some likes and, I might get some new comments and followers. But they don't really understand what Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, like, how are these platforms making money, right? Because they have to make money. Eventually, if you, this is a basic rule in business. If you make someone money, then you can make money yourself from the whole transaction, right? Say, for example, if I'm selling a house on behalf of someone and I say, hey, I'm selling this house for $500,000, can you give me $5,000 for this if I sell it? They will say yes, obviously, because I'm probably making far more profit from selling it. So yes, you can have $5,000 because you're facilitating the whole transaction. The same thing happens in Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. All of these platforms are there to make money. And if you help them make more money, then as a result, you're going to get more followers, more likes, and eventually more money, right? So their sole purpose is to generate profits for the shareholder. And the majority of those profits come from ad revenue, right? So all of these platforms are basically making money from ad revenue. So advertisers will try to promote products, services, try to get leads, try to create awareness campaigns, whatever it might be. And they will basically give the platforms money, give all of these social media platforms money for their ads to be shown to audiences, right? So to generate higher ad revenue, they need more people to buy, and to have more people buying, they need more eyeballs, more users on the platform at all times, right? So the more people they have on the platform, the more they can advertise, right? Because you can't advertise too much to a small amount of people, because they will just not, they'll end up not buying. They will just be annoyed and they will just quit the platform, right? So the more people you have, the better, and the more money they can make off you. Now, that's why your purpose when creating videos, images, or content in general is retention, right? This is a very, very, very important factor, retention. The more people stick on the platform because of you, the more you are rewarded with views and followers. Now, why? Now, this is basic economics, right? It's supply and demand. Now, the intersection in the middle between price and demand is the equilibrium price. Basically, this is the equilibrium between supply and demand. Now, supply in this case, it's active users, and demand is active advertisers. Now, if we shift supply on the right, so we increase supply of active users, right? So more people are on the platform, then the actual price for advertising will become cheaper, right? Because you have the same amount of advertisers with more supply of people that are active on the platform. So the whole price for advertisers will be cheaper. On the other hand, if we're basically shifting supply on the left side, then the price will become higher, because you basically have less people with the same amount of advertisers. So the advertisers will have to pay even more to be able to get their ads in front of the right people, right? I do know that this might sound complicated, but if you stop it and maybe you rewatch it for a second, you will understand exactly what I mean. And this intersection, it's basically the equilibrium price. This is like, in economics, the ideal price for a service, for a product. In this case, there will be the CPM, or cost per 1,000 impressions, right? Because you're looking at supply of active users and demand of active advertisers. I don't want you to focus too much on this, but I want you to understand that the whole idea of social media is that you have users and then you have advertisers. And the more users you have on the platform, the cheaper it becomes for advertisers to advertise and to sell products and services. So they are more likely to spend even more money on the platform, right? Because they have better returns, etc. So the sole purpose of every single social media platform is to get as many people as possible on the platform, right? Now, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are competing at all times. So they are businesses and they do competitor research, trying to stay relevant with others. So, update virality. So if any of the platforms is introducing a new feature, trying to compete with another platform, they're more likely to push engagement to get live feedback. And let me just explain this quickly. I worked in a fintech, so financial, something that combines finance and technology, right? So it's basically an app. And everything that you have within, apps, within everything that's like tech, you need people's feedback, right? You can't just assume that, this new app will just work just because we say so. No, you push it to the market and then you try to get as much feedback as possible from people. Like you're basically trying to get some response back. Is this working? Are these new features better or are they worse? Is this pushing more engagement? Is this decreasing engagement? So are we seeing more people on the platform or is there less people? So at all times, all of these platforms are basically trying to compete with each other and get as much attention and as many people as possible on their platform. So every time that they will release something new, a new feature, then all of the other platforms will try to release a similar feature just to stay competitive, right? So it's a short-term win for you if you basically try to take advantage of these new features and use them, because all of these platforms will try to push even more engagement. So for example, if they're releasing a new reel that it says, this new reel is going to be 2 minutes long, we're just trying to increase the watch time on reels. Now, if you use that specific reel, then you are more likely to actually get more eyeballs, right? And it's simply because Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform it might be, they will try to push those new features more, right? They're trying to test if this is going to increase retention on the platform or decrease it. So it's a short-term win, as I said, but you could really go more viral by just paying attention to details and staying up to date. Now, for example, Instagram introducing Reels, YouTube introducing Shorts to stay relevant with TikTok, right? So TikTok basically introduced this new way of showing content, right? Super short videos, 20, 30 seconds long maximum. And it can go up to under a minute, but super short videos, super catchy, very high dopamine. And Instagram and basically YouTube, they both realize, we're missing out on this new opportunity. Like these guys are absolutely crushing it with these short videos. We need to introduce something similar. That's when Instagram, instead of over focusing on posts and videos on the feed, they introduce Reels, right? Because they understood that people are just absolutely, addicted to just scrolling through videos and just having that dopamine hit. So Instagram introduced Reels and YouTube introduced Shorts. Obviously, yes, YouTube does have long format. You're watching this video, it's probably going to be an hour, 2 hour long, whatever it might be. And at the same time, you also have Shorts, right? So they're trying to basically play it safe and have the best of both worlds. Now, the counterexample of Shorts and Reels being introduced as a result of TikTok has moved on to pushing 1 minute plus long videos by creating the creativity program, right? So there is this new basically program that TikTok is pushing where they're trying to keep people more on the platform. So anything that's 1 minute plus long, it kind of gets a boost. And I've seen this not just for the creativity program, I've seen this for any video. If the video is 1 minute plus long, then you have a higher chance of actually going viral. So let's have a look at the metrics. So first of all, we have watch time. So by far, this is the most important metric for any social media platform, right? So anything above 25% will have a high chance of going viral. And again, as I was saying, I'm not just, talking out of my ass. I'm literally bringing you proof And, I will just show you in just a second what do I mean by that. There you go. So these are videos we posted on Lifer, on our previous account. And I'm basically showing you stats on each one of them, right? So the first one with Luke got 200,000 views, and then you can see 16.87% watch time. So that was basically the average watch time overall for this video. So 16.87% of the people watched the video in full, right? Now let's have a look at the second one. 389,000 views, 19.62% of the people watched in full. So you can see just 3% has basically increased the views by basically doubled the views, right? So it went from 200,000 to 389,000. Now, let's have a look what happens when you go above the 25%. So the first one, this is our best performing video, got 17 million views on TikTok, and it had an average of 48.72% watch time. So 48.72% of the people watched the whole video in full, right? So the retention on this video was absolutely crazy. On a 11:56 seconds video, the average watch time was 10.3 seconds. So basically the average watch time was almost, the whole video, right? And that's because people kept watching it a few times, and yeah, it obviously performed really well. So 17 million views, 2.2 million likes, 33,000 comments, 273,000 shares. This is actually a really important metric. We'll just talk about that in a second. And 174,000 saves. Now, next up, this one, 37.24 watch full video. Again, 10 million views, so slightly less, but again, 10 million views, so quite decent video as well. Way less engagement when it comes to comments. So the first one was very controversial, whilst the second one was a bit more inspirational. And this one basically created loads of discussions, loads of arguments, and all the platforms basically love arguments. They just promote the shit out of it. Then third video, 2.5 million views. So this was literally just above 25%, right? So just above 25%, so 26.1% watch full video, and we got 2.5 million views. So from our experience, from what I've seen on social media, anything above 25%, it just seems to go hyper viral. So 1 million views plus, right? And then finally 29.74%, 2.8 million views. So you can see there is literally a direct correlation in between the people that watch the full video and the amount of views that it gets and the amount of engagement, right? Some of them might have more engagement in certain areas, so comments on the first video, but overall, the whole idea is that if you can retain more people for longer, that's when your video is going to go absolutely ballistic. Now, the amount of shares. So when a video is shared, the person that receives it is far more likely to watch it in full. So yes, shares are super important. So let me just give you another example. Imagine if one of your friends is basically sharing a video with you. You receive a notification, you check your phone, and you realize, oh shit, Mark just sent me this video, let me have a look. So realistically speaking, you are far more likely to watch the full video just because your friend shared it with you, right? You want to see, okay, why did Mark share it with me? So in this case, the hook of the video, it's you receiving the video, because now you're like, okay, what's the reason behind this person sharing this video with me? Is it because it's entertaining? Is it because it's educational? Is it trying to show me something? Whatever it might be, right? So, and at the same time, he's also bringing you back on the platform, right? So you might be, I don't know, studying, and you just get this notification. So you weren't on the platform, but you get this notification and you go on the platform and you watch the full video. So you spend time on the platform, and then in 90% of the times where, I've seen people literally using social media, they just keep scrolling and they just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Now, next up, we have comments. And this is basically a more conscious way to interact with posts, videos, etc. So it's valued slightly more than likes. But again, yes, it does increase engagement. It does increase the amount of watch time that you have as well, because basically when you check in the comments, the video is still playing in the background. So if someone is going in the comments and they're basically checking what people are discussing, or maybe they're commenting themselves, then it might increase engagement. But from my experience, I've seen that shares and watch time are the two most important metrics, right? And then you have comments, and then you finally have likes. Likes is just at the bottom. It's like the least amount of engagement that you can have on a video, right? Besides not engaging at all, obviously. But I was literally traveling on the tube the other day, and I've seen kids going on TikTok and literally just scrolling through and just like scrolling, scroll, and it just made me realize, well, likes nowadays are just pointless. Right? It's just like the lowest form of engagement. It's almost as not engaging at all, especially when you see people just not giving it any value to it. Anyways, back to us. And the algorithm can also play against you, right? So you need to be aware of this as well. And it can make you quit, especially if you're a beginner. And I'm just going to explain this in a second. So although we all know social media is saturated, there is still an abundance of viewers and customers for each niche, right? So however, Instagram will make you think that your niche is oversaturated as you do content research. And funny enough, we actually went through this ourselves, and we thought, oh, why the fuck are we doing this? Everyone seems to be doing the same thing, right? Maybe we need to change. Maybe we need to move on to something else, right? And if you're not basically aware of this, it will discourage you. And obviously it does discourage most people, but it's not actually true, right? So there is one thing called confirmation bias, and it's basically you seeing similar content to yours from other people, right? And in some cases, the algorithm might be as good as showing you exactly the same content as yours on, that might be Instagram or TikTok. And that's because the algorithm knows exactly how to show you based on the content you interact with. And obviously, yes, this does not mean that the niche is saturated. So you could be scrolling on TikTok or Instagram and you like something. So you interact with that comment, or you might like or comment on something just to get fed more video ideas. And after a week of doing this, right, you will end up having your whole feed just same content as what you're planning to do. And you might be thinking, oh, well, what's the point of me fucking doing this? Everyone is doing the same thing. I'm so behind. Maybe I need to change niche. Maybe I need to change my content. Maybe I need to try to innovate my content. And there is nothing wrong with that. But for the beginning, all I would say is don't focus too much on this, because that just means that the algorithm is really good at understanding what you like and suggests you even more content based on what you interacted with, right? So again, don't get discouraged. Just understand that there is millions and billions of people on these platforms, and by you interacting with some content, you will obviously get fed back some content that might be similar to what you're trying to do. So again, all I want you to take from this, don't get discouraged. There is plenty of fish in the sea. You can still make money. Don't stress. Now, next up, we have profile hygiene, right? So I don't care what you think, 99.99% of social media accounts are made for one single reason: to make money, right? So everyone is there to make money. Some accounts are started with the purpose of making money, whilst others realize along the way that they can, so they should, so they do, right? So I've seen this many times. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to make money. I just want to post stuff out of passion, out of whatever. And after a while, they just realize, well, I have 200,000 followers. What the fuck would I not make money? Why would I be getting minimum wage, or why would I be getting, a basic pay from my job when I could be making literally thousands a month just promoting something, or just, trying to sell a digital product, or maybe try to sell affiliates or whatever it might be, right? So after a while, they just realize, oh shit, I'm sitting on a gold mine and I'm not doing anything about it. So they eventually transition to making money with it. Now, the main goal of social media is to gather attention in a cost-effective way and channel it to generate profit, right? So once you understand this, that's when everything will click for you, right? So many people in the space, your favorite gurus, the people that you see online all the time, they understood this. right? Social media, it's the most cost-effective way to channel attention and to generate profits. I'm not going to drop names because I don't want this video to get banned or fucking flagged or whatever, but you know exactly who I'm talking about, right? You might have seen his face everywhere. And yes, these people understood very, very, very early on that social media is probably one of the best tools of the 21st century if you know how to use it to your advantage. And as a result of that, they generate a fuck ton of money. Now, this is why many people prefer to start testing products, services organically before considering paid methods such as ads, right? So yes, you can use that to grow your social presence, your personal brand, but at the same time, you can also try to test products or services. Say, for example, if I have an agency, but maybe I don't have money, then I also want to say, okay, if I make a post or if I make a reel on social media talking about my service and try to offer it to other people, let me see if I'm actually getting any feedback. Let me see if there is anyone that's actually interested. Because there is no point in me trying to start the whole business, all the operations, all the processes, and then you just hear crickets. Then no one's going to actually want your service. So social media is also a great way for you to test products and services. You're basically seeing if there is any demand for whatever you're trying to build and whatever you're trying to sell. It's actually a great Red Bull. So you need to position your social media accounts in a way that they convert viewers to become fans, clients, customers, or part of your community, and not just followers on a screen. And we have made this mistake with Lifer. And again, I'm just trying to be super real with you, giving you a full view, right? I'm not perfect. I'm not a genius. I fucked up along the way as well, as many others have. So I'm showing you my mistakes and hopefully you can learn from them. So as I said, I'm saying this because when we were growing Lifer, we completely disregarded the conversion part. We were focusing so much on getting views that eventually didn't mean anything, right? So when you get so many views, right, we were literally getting millions and millions and millions of views every single day, right? And some people might think, fuck, this is great. I could be making so much money. Imagine if I can convert 1%, 2% of these people and they're going to buy my product, my service. I'm going to make so much money. And all that we were doing, we're like, oh, let's create better content. Oh, let's try to find better content to upload. Oh, maybe we can use this editing method to get even more views. And maybe we can get even more followers. And at the end of it, we realized we're fucking dumb. Like, why are we putting so much effort into getting even more views when we're getting views on autopilot when we don't have anything to sell? We don't have a service. We don't have a product. What the fuck are we doing? And at the end of it, we just realized, oh, okay, cool. We need a product. And that's when, we started monetizing it. We started making money. But if we would have realized that from the beginning, we would have made far more money. Like, I will probably be recording this video someplace in Dubai or, in my garage with a Lambo. Anyways, we didn't focus on getting people's emails, getting them in the community or selling to them. And this is where a lot of people fuck up, right? They do it for ego. They do it for, I'm going to make whatever, I'm going to get whatever many followers so I can show my friends how famous I am. It's just stupid. So from the get-go, have a rough idea of how you would monetize your page. Are you going to promote other people for money? Are you going to do affiliate marketing? Are you going to create your own digital product? Or maybe you just want to leverage social media programs that pay for views. For example, the TikTok creativity program, as I mentioned earlier. So just try to, I'm not saying, I need to completely settle on one thing. This is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. I just want you to understand, at least decide from the beginning, well, out of all of these things, if I'm going for this niche, what's the one that makes the most sense? Do I have the knowledge to do digital products? Yes or no? No. Cool. I'm going to move on to something else. Do I have the right products to do affiliate marketing with? No. Cool. Let's check the next one. Do I have a big enough following to promote other people, and how much would I be getting paid for that? Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe this makes more sense. Cool. I'm going to do that for now. And then you can always move, right? But I want you to have a rough idea from the beginning. How are you going to monetize it? And if you're going to monetize it at all. But again, we'll get into that in just a second. Now, All of them will make money because others have made money with them, right? All of them that I showed you earlier, they all made, they're all great ways to make money on social media. You just need to understand what niche will have the highest ROI, no matter if it's a personal or faceless brand, right? So there are certain niches that will pay more, whilst others will pay less. And I want you to understand from the beginning which one will pay you the most. And it has to be some sort of balance in between what you generally enjoy doing. So what content you enjoy creating, and what content can you stay consistent with, and what content actually gives you high ROI. So if you go into like the motivational niche, yes, it can go super viral, but at the same time, I want you to think from the beginning, well, if I were to grow this page to 500,000 followers, what would I be selling? What would I be promoting? What service would I be trying to go for to make money, right? Now, if you treat social media like a business, it will produce business-like profits. If you treat it like a hobby, you might as well not start at all. So there is generally no incentive in being famous on social media if you cannot actively profit from it. This is the case of a personal brand. And it will basically just ruin your personal life, your privacy, without any upside. You're literally just putting a target on your back. People, they might recognize you, they might try to attack you on the street, or I'm obviously exaggerating, but you get the idea. You're basically creating an extra job for yourself without making any profits, any excess profits. And it's just fucking pointless. Or you might end up spending hours filming or editing content just for views, right, with a faceless brand. So again, if you're going for a faceless brand, for just like a normal page, and you're spending hours on filming, on finding content, on editing, just to get some views without having anything to sell, then again, it's pointless. You're just literally wasting hours and hours and hours doing this, and you don't want this to become a hobby, right? Now, let's check the main thing before you start running the account and post content. First of all, the bio. So the bio should state what you do. So if it's a page, it should state exactly why people should follow you, why, what you're basically doing, you're trying to inspire people, try to motivate people, etc. And again, as I just said, why they should follow you. So I'm here to inspire you every day. I'm here to show you the best ways to automate with AI. I'm showing you the best ways to grow on social media. I'm showing you the best ways to get a new job in 2024, like get a job in finance, whatever it might be, right? And then lastly, contain a call to action with the link, right? This could be, depending at what stage you are, it could be one single link, or you can have link tree, beacons, etc., where you have multiple links that people can click. I would normally recommend to have only one single link because it just makes it easier. Normally it's better for conversion because you don't want people to land on a page. And I've actually seen this on huge influencers. They have millions of followers, and then you click the link in bio and they just have 20 links with different affiliate links. And I'm like, why am I meant to see here? It's just so confusing, and it just, most people will probably leave. So again, try to create something, try to follow this kind of structure in your bio, and it should maximize conversion. Next up, we have highlights. So highlights should give your audience context. So who you are, what your page is about. If you're doing a faceless brand, again, show testimonials and success stories. So if you have a faceless brand and maybe you're selling, say for example, luxury videos, right? So say that you have something where your page is basically focused on motivation, on luxury stuff, on, houses, supercars, watches, whatever it might be. And other people might want to replicate your content. Now you could give them, for example, luxury packs of videos, right? So they could be paying for that. And then you can show testimonials and reviews on people buying your stuff. So it could be, I don't know, $50 for the pack. And then you can show all the reviews of people saying, oh, these are amazing. Oh, I can't believe I got these many videos for this price. Oh, this is underrated, blah, blah, blah. Right? So it's basically trying to show others that these are worth it and they should buy too. And again, if you're doing something for personal brand, so you could have testimonials. Say, for example, that I have an agency and I'm showing testimonials of my clients. So that could just be literally me interviewing my clients, asking them, so what was your experience with Utopic Labs, how was it? And you're basically showing their reaction, their answer to your question, right? So this is like the most natural way of you doing testimonials. Then finally, include a VSL in a highlights format. So if you can basically include a VSL, so a video sales letter, where you basically break down why they're following you. So like, what's the problem that you're solving, the solution, you're showing testimonials, and then finally you have a call to action. So you can have that literally in a highlight format. You can call it story, you can call it work with us, you can call it, it could just be name of your agency or your business or your service or whatever it could be, right? It's basically selling people through a VSL, but in a highlights format. It has to be shorter than a normal VSL. So VSLs could be up to 1 hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it might be long. You need to compress everything into 30 to 45 second videos. So you could have 5, 6, 7 videos, 45 seconds each, explaining what you're doing, what's the problem that you're solving, how you're solving it. These are the testimonials from other people getting good results from us. And this is a call to action if you want to work with us, right? That could be all of it. Finally, when it comes to content, you should be consistent throughout each post and also have the best posts that ideally should also be selling your product or service, and they should be pinned, right? So we're going to discuss this in just a second. Well, it might be a bit longer than a second because the video is really long, but I'm going to show you exactly how you can run traffic to a specific video that will also convert for your service. And you should have this pinned so then more people will be curious to see, how does this video have so many views? I want to see it as well. And that could basically be you selling your product or service. Now, content planning. I've actually split this in 2 sections. So the first one is going to be fundamentals, and the second one is going to be more in-depth, more technical strategies. So yeah, apologies for the fundamentals, but hopefully you enjoy it too. Now, frequency. I know you might be expecting me to tell you the perfect number of posts or videos that you should be posting, but the reality is that there isn't. So I've seen accounts posting once a week with millions of followers and focusing more on engaging with their audience through stories. And again, they might be doing well, whilst others posting 3 times a day, barely getting any views, right? So the frequency matters to a certain extent, but it's not the most important thing, right? So it's always a balance in between quantity and quality. Now, you always need the balance between quality and quantity, as I just said, but posting once a week, especially if you're just beginning, it might be too risky. That's just because if that one video flops, you get another chance in a week time, right? So you need to have some degree of balance between frequency and quality. If you're posting too often, then you might have to decrease on quality, which you don't want to do. But again, if you're only posting 1 week and try to just make that perfect post, that perfect video, perfect edit, then it might not work either, because you just need a bit of a balance, right? So again, if you're going all in on quality, you can't have 4 videos in a month, because if 2 of those videos flop, then you're fucked, right? So try to find a balance. Try to find a balance in between not going all in on quality, but at the same time having more frequent. So maybe post once every 3 days. But in those 3 days, you're really working hard on making a great video. It doesn't have to have super complex animations, visual effects and whatever it might be. Like you can still make a very good video if you focus on story, if you focus on other elements. Now, hashtags. And again, I didn't really want to cover this, but I'm going to cover it just because I don't want to get millions of fucking comments in the section and people asking, but what about hashtags? Anyways, hashtags are overrated in my opinion. When running Lifer, we haven't really used hashtags, nor seen any major improvements when we did. Obviously, can you use them? Of course. Are they really a big factor? Not really. So we haven't really seen much focus. Like, this is literally the last thing that you should be worrying about when you create content. It's something that will probably take you like 5 minutes. So yeah, might as well just add it. But so many people just focus on this technical shit when the real stuff is just people see a video, how would they react on that video? That's the most important thing. The hashtag might just give you like a 0.00001% chance of getting an extra 2 followers, right? And people are just so focused on giving advice on, oh, these are the most used hashtags, these are like best hashtags for motivation, it's just bullshit, man. Just try to focus on the fundamentals. At the end of the day, you're just showing your content to people, and people will react in a certain way to it. If you can understand how these people will react to your content, and the reaction obviously benefits you, then that's when you can actually grow on social media. Now, video length. The length of the video depends on the purpose of it. So if you're trying to go viral, then videos on the 20 to 45 seconds mark might be the best. If you're trying to tell a story, then you should try to create something that's 1 minute long, right? So if you're trying to tell a story, a 20 to 45 second video might not be enough, right? So you might need something longer. So you might have a shorter introduction, and then you want to create a whole story to convince people. You need to have some storytelling skills to actually do this. If you want to go viral, anything 20 to 45 seconds might work best for you. You don't need something extremely long. I've seen literally videos 11-second long that just go fucking viral. So yeah, you don't necessarily need to long it too much. However, on the other hand, if you can get a video viral at 1 minute long, then you might create some more engaged audiences. Now, remember, most videos that go viral normally have at least an average of 25% watch time. So the longer your video is, the more you need to keep people engaged to reach that mark. However, the more watch time you have, the more your video will be pushed. Again, balance, right? So if you go something super, super short, 5 seconds long, 6 seconds long, 7 seconds long, it just might signal to Instagram that that's not a great video, right? Because people will have to watch it 100 times for you to be able to get some decent watch time. On the other hand, if you go for something super long, say for example, I have a video, really good storytelling, it's 2 minutes long. Well, you're taking a massive risk because they need to watch at least 30 seconds in the video for you to be able to reach that 25% mark of watch time, right? So again, how good are you with hooks? How good are you to keep people engaged? And at the same time, don't try to trick people into going for 3-second videos because it's just going to bite you in the ass. So yeah, keep that in mind. Next up, so this is exactly the same screenshot I showed you earlier. I'm not going to reread all the stats again, but as you can see, anything below 25% watchful video is just basically being capped. I'm not saying that these are not great videos, right? So they still got complexively almost 600,000 views. So I'm not discrediting them. Like, these are still great results. But if you're really looking for hyper viral videos, then 25% plus watchful video, it's what you really need. Now, purpose of each element, right? Hopefully I still have you there and you haven't fallen asleep or went for a piss. Right, so when it comes to social media, you have different stages, right? And the best way to probably represent this, it's a funnel. And basically at the top, you have acquisition. And this is where you're basically trying to get new eyeballs on your content. Then you have nurturing. And this is when people are already on your account, right? And then finally you have conversion. And this is basically where you tell them what to do next, right? So do you want me to click on something? Do you want me to interact with you? Do you want me to DM you? Do you want me to comment something, etc.? Now, basically at the acquisition level, you can use short form, so Reels, Shorts, and TikToks to get new eyeballs, right? So normally speaking, short form is the best way for you to get new eyeballs in 2024. So if you're trying to get new people onto your account, then again, the best way to do it is to use short form, right? Reels, Shorts, TikToks, etc. At this stage, the main thing that you should be worried about is create good content and convert them into followers, right? So everything, like all that matters at this stage is for you to get more people to see your content, right? You want them to see your content and follow you. So give them a reason to follow you by creating good content, by teaching them something, by entertaining them, etc. That's all that matters at this stage. Now, next up, you have the nurturing stage. And this is where you basically create a deeper connection with your following. This is where we kind of fucked up on Lifer as well, because we weren't too focused on nurturing our audience. We weren't posting as much on stories, weren't really doing like any lives, we weren't really like commenting or DMing people back, etc. So our main focus was literally like our full attention was on acquisition. So we were just like laser focused on getting views, getting followers, etc. And after that, we were like, oh shit, we haven't done the most important thing. We haven't created a connection with these people. We should have just start posting more stories. We should have tried to ask their opinion, create polls, maybe jump on lives with people, etc. So on this stage, nurture the audience with stories, posts. So that would be on Instagram, lives on TikTok, or long form videos on YouTube. And this is where you build a relationship with your audience, right? So for example, if you're doing shorts on YouTube, then what you can say is like, oh, by the way, I also have a longer version of this exact video where I'm explaining everything, right? So you might have enjoyed, if you have enjoyed this video, then check out this other video where I'm explaining everything in depth. Or it could be on TikTok, right? On TikTok is actually a bit tricky because the nurturing part is probably the trickiest of all, right? So TikTok is not very great when it comes to nurturing your audience because you get loads of followers, loads of likes, but when it comes to you interacting with them again, it's extremely hard, right? When we were running Lifer as well, you couldn't really DM people, you couldn't really talk to them on a chat. It was just comments, and we could have done lives as well. But again, I wasn't like really a fan of doing lives. So yeah, TikTok for us was great when it came to views, when it came to likes, etc. But when it comes to actually interacting with a new audience, with the people that join your account, basically, it was a bit harder. Now, when it comes to Instagram, you can do loads. So stories, you can show the day-to-day, and this is how I would use it personally. So you have edited videos where you basically try to get more people in, and then through stories, you show the behind the scenes, you show a more genuine approach of what your day looks like, of what it could just be different things, depending on what your account is about, obviously. So if you are, for example, a food page, then you could show the recipes, so the edited version of your recipe, and then in your stories you could be showing the behind the scenes, so the bloopers, you could the funny stuff basically. And that's how people will connect with you, because if they only see the videos, you're just a guy that makes videos. If they see your stories in the behind the scenes, now they feel like they know that guy, right? And this is the most powerful thing. This is how you convert people into being your fans. Now, lastly, we have the conversion. So this is where you convert them into customers, clients, or your fans, right? So that could be through links, communities, etc. So this is obviously the most important part. This is where you get all of these people that now like you after you nurture them to join something that you have. So again, it could be a community, it could be a link, they could click a link to join a community. It could be a longer video where you maybe try to convert them into customers, into clients, into your service, etc. Right? So conversion is super important, but if you don't nail down the first two, then it's impossible. So just to like recap, on the first thing, it's basically where you fill up the funnel, where you get millions of views. On the nurturing part is where you connect with them and you make them become your real fans. And on the conversion is where you basically convert them into customers, fans, they join your community, etc. So again, if you don't have the first part sorted out, then you're basically nurturing nobody, and obviously you're converting, again, nobody, right? So it's basically you need to fill the funnel at the top and then go to the bottom. Now, understanding the platforms. I'm just gonna take another sip of this Red Bull. Almost finished it. I'm gonna go on the second one. It's gonna be a long day. Right. So back to us. Understanding the platforms. So Instagram per se is a platform that has a mix of entertainment and education. Many businesses use it to promote their services, and that could be obviously professionals. and show their personal brand. So it obviously has all the elements of conversion, so acquisition, nurturing, and conversion, what we just mentioned. So Instagram, in practice, it's a great platform because you have all the elements. So you can have reels to acquire people, you can have stories to nurture them, and DMs and lives, etc. So you can nurture your audience. And then finally, you can add links, you can DM people if you want to connect one-to-one and convert them through DMs, etc. So all the elements, great platform. Now, when it comes to TikTok is more tailored to younger people that just scroll through content and just seek dopamine. If you're trying to get leads from TikTok, it might be harder. However, it has better incentives when it comes to getting paid for views, and that's the creativity program. And although this sounds great, TikTok is missing the nurturing element of the conversion funnel. So when it comes to TikTok, it's really, really hard for you to actually nurture people. So yes, you can do lives. There is other ways for you to monetize TikTok, but the actual nurturing part is a bit tricky. Like the lives, you can only do so many. You can only, like, what are you actually going to explain people that's new all the time on the lives, right? And on the right here, this is one of my friends actually doing the creativity program. In 7 days, he got $93,230 from TikTok creativity program. So yes, you can make a lot of money from other ways. Instagram at the moment doesn't actually pay for views. So it's great from TikTok that somehow they're trying to reward their creators by giving them a chunk of the ad revenue that they get from advertisers. So again, there is pros and cons to every single platform. I do think that in the future, Instagram might move towards paying their creators as well, just to stay competitive with TikTok, because a lot of people are actually leaving for TikTok. So they're posting less on Instagram, they're going on TikTok, just because, especially if they don't have personal brand, they're not trying to convert people onto a service or onto a product. They're just trying to get views, right? So yeah, it could be working both ways, but it really depends on you, how you, what you want to do. Now, third one, we have YouTube. So YouTube is a place that people use to learn new things or for long-term entertainment. So the same way you are watching this and are on the platform, right? So you're basically watching a full-on masterclass. I don't know, again, how long it will be. It might be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. But it's long form, right? I'm not trying to fill your brain with shit and dopamine and basically fry your brain. I'm here explaining you social media. So many people come on YouTube. They're trying to learn new things. Maybe they try to learn advertising. They try to learn how to monetize social media, how to grow on social media, how to play the piano, how to play the guitar, etc. Right? It's a great place for you to learn new things as well as entertain yourself if that's what you want. As I was saying, the people that are on YouTube have more patience. They are there for educational purposes or educational entertainment, right? Because yes, it could be educational purposes like this video, but it could also be educational entertainment. And that's when someone is maybe trying to show you a science experiment, but it's also fun, and they're also trying to use some retention tactics to keep you watching for longer, etc. So it is education, but they do it in an entertainment way, right? Which is actually a great way. So for this case, the short you create have to be engaging, but you can also push for 1 minute plus. Based on each platform, essentially, you need to know how to create different content. So when we were basically doing Lifer, we were posting the same content across different platforms. So you were posting the same video on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok, because our idea was, what's the point of us trying to create specific content for each platform when we can just post the same thing, right? So we make the effort once and we just try to get as much reward as possible from it. And at the beginning, we thought that was the right thing, but we quickly realized that the people that are on YouTube, the people that are on TikTok, and the ones that are on Instagram are not the same, right? They might be using the platforms at the same time, but they don't have the same level of engagement. So someone that's more engaged on YouTube might not be as engaged on TikTok, or might not have TikTok at all, because they prefer long form content. They might prefer educational stuff that they probably don't find on TikTok. The same way that people are on Instagram, they might not be on TikTok again. Or the people that are on TikTok might not be on YouTube because they don't really care about, learning or educational entertainment or long-term format content. They just want to have a laugh on TikTok and just see fucking kittens. I don't know. So always keep that in mind, that the content that you're creating has to be tailored for the platforms that you're trying to grow, right? And you don't necessarily have to grow on all platforms at the same time. You could just be growing on YouTube super fast, or on Instagram, or on TikTok, and just focus on that one thing, right? Because then after, it's easier for you to transition to something else. But try to focus your full attention into one thing and make money with that thing, because that's when you can kind of diversify into other platforms, into other, like maybe try to create different products, try to monetize in different ways, etc. So the main thing is just focus on one, try to make as much money as possible as you can with that one thing, and get as many views as possible, as many followers as possible. Then from that, you can transition into something else. But spreading your attention on different platforms might not work for you. Now, understanding the audience. This is basically more for faceless pages, but when it comes to growing on social media, you need to look at the market desire, right? So you can't create desire, but you can channel your content in the right direction to capture that desire, right? So you can't create desire, but you can create content that's more aligned to a desire. So the content quality in this case is the same, but if you have a small desire, then you're not going to create a fire. You're not going to create a big fire. Whilst if you have a big desire with the same exact content quality, same exact content, you might just go super viral, right? And obviously the algorithm is the wind that just increases the intensity of the fire. And yeah, this is like a kind of like a metaphor to show you how I see the whole market desire thing, right? So you can't create desire, but you can channel your content into the right direction to get the most out of it, right? So see it as the same way as ROI. So if I have two niches, one might be 100,000 people, another one might be 10 billion people. Obviously there is not 10 billion people on earth, but just to give you an example. Well, if you can create the same content quality, which one would you go for? Which one has the highest chance of getting loads of views and maybe getting even more money? Well, the 10 billion people one, right? So you can channel you can channel that content into the right direction in which will bring you the most return. And this is the whole kind of idea behind the market desire. So when it comes to personal brand, the size of the fire views is not as important. With a personal brand, viewers connect more. When you try to sell something, a personal brand will always have a higher conversion rate than a faceless page, right? Because when it comes to faceless brands, people just see a brand. That's why even big brands like Nike, like Red Bull, not actually sponsored by them, but all of these companies are now trying to get more influencers or more sports people to represent their brand, because they understand that you just showing your brand all the time to your audience is not going to really connect with them. But when you show a face, when you show a person, that's when people connect. People connect with people. They don't connect with brands, right? And as I said, big brands as well are now trying to are understanding that they need to move towards influencer marketing because that will bring them better results. So just to summarize this, when it comes to personal brands, you don't need a lot of views, you don't need a lot of followers, right? You could have 4,000 people that are like die-hard fans, and from those 4,000 people, you might be making 100K a month. Whilst you could have a brand that has 2 million followers and you're barely doing 3K a month, right? Simply because it's just a faceless brand. People don't really recognize it. So again, when it comes to faceless brands, yes, numbers matter. When it comes to personal brand, all that matters is your character, your personality, you connecting with people on a more personal level rather than just numbers on a screen. And if you think you have nothing to share, no, neither did he at the start. So just an example of Eman, you probably have seen him fucking everywhere probably. That was him in 2016, just kind of sharing his experience, sharing his journey. And this is him in 2024. And I know if you're trying to start a personal brand, this might be your biggest objection. Oh, my life fucking sucks. Like, I don't have anything to share. Everything is boring. I don't know what to do. Everything is boring, right? And that's not just true. It's that you could be starting a new brand, a new business, a new venture. You could be showing your fitness journey. You could be showing your recipes. You could be showing your daily life. I literally have seen people on social media creating a personal brand with hundreds of thousands of followers, just showing their 9 to 5. And you have probably seen him too. I think he's quite famous at the moment, but I'm not going to drop names. But anyways, like, you might be surprised on how much you can do without you having to have, expensive cars, lavish lifestyle, loads of money, etc. Like, people, yes, are impressed by those things. I'm not saying that they're not, but it's not the most important thing. If you can connect with people by showing them your journey, you're just as well as someone that's just showing the lifestyle. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this example of Iman when he was, I think, 16 in this picture. And now that's in 2024 when, obviously he has far more money, has a certain lifestyle, etc., which he can share with people and inspire them, etc. Whilst before, he was just relatable, right? So on the left-hand side, you can be relatable, you can show your journey, you can show your struggles, you can show your day-to-day life, and that's perfectly normal, right? Whilst on the right-hand side, he's just showing the more inspirational side of things. Let's move on to growth strategies. First of all, let's have a look at organic growth. So, social media psychology 101. Every video, post, or story you put out there will have an impact on your audience, and as a result, an emotional reaction. You might think that these reactions are a coincidence, but if you know how to trigger certain emotions, you are more likely to get a response or engagement. And that's what the platform cares about, right? So these are the most powerful emotions. So first of all, we have fear, happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, guilt. And yes, as you can see, most of these are negative emotions, hence why most content that goes viral on social media is negative, right? This is the reality of things. Most of the content you see on social media, it's negative. I get it. I know it sucks, but this is what people react to the most, right? They are more reactive to someone being ugly or someone being fat than to someone that's just in good shape, because they expect someone to post a video of them being in shape. Hopefully you get my idea. And this is an example of these exact emotions being applied to videos. So on the first one, this is Matthew Walker. He was talking about the risk of not sleeping. He was saying that if you don't sleep, then there is a higher chance of you getting a heart attack, you having health issues, etc. So it's basically scaring people. So people are now in fear, right? So that's why this one video got so much engagement. So out of this one video, we got 33,000 comments of people arguing and asking questions and being worried, etc. So as you can see, if you know how to apply and how to include these emotions in your videos, that's when you can really get big numbers. And the second one, that was Luke, and he was talking about happiness, 6.3 million views. Again, he was just talking about happiness in a more triggering way, right? So he was talking about happiness and how it's not the most important thing, but it kind of created some controversy. And again, loads of comments, loads of engagement, people arguing in the comments. And I know it might sound crazy or stupid or whatever you might think, but having people arguing in the comments will give you more engagement, and as the result of that, you grow your page. So if you know how to trigger those emotions, you have your audience hooked, especially if you do it in the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video. At the end of the day, it's all about emotions. You can get away with a shit edit and quality if your video is emotionally charged, right? And this is extremely true. So many people think, oh, if I have my video that's a bit more edited, I don't really have to put as much effort on other things, like the whole storyline, whilst the storyline is actually far more important than your editing, right? I've literally seen so many shit videos edit-wise that have gone super viral just because the storyline and the whole emotions within the video were super strong. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're thinking about creating videos. Now, we have shareability. So if your content is also shareable, you won the jackpot and your video will go viral guaranteed. Why? Because shares bring new people from outside into the app, inside the app, and the platform loves it. So also those that receive the video post are more likely to watch it in full just because they have received it from a friend, right? So in this case, we have this video of Luke that got 11 million views in total, and you can see it has almost 45,000 shares. So imagine that's 45,000 new people that were outside of the app, and because of this one video, they went back into the app and they opened and watched this video in full. That's crazy. Imagine this video just got an extra 50,000 views with probably a super high watch time just because people shared it, just because they found it emotionally charged in some way, right? So you can see how having a video that's highly shareable might change the whole trajectory of one video or your whole account. Now, people share videos, posts, and stories if the content is valuable enough that they, by association, look smarter to their friends. So for example, if I'm sharing a video with you that's about something smart, or maybe a new technique on social media, or a new hack that I found on social media, like a new hack that someone has found on social media to go viral, if I'm sharing that with you, you're like, oh, thanks for that. That was actually really clever. I never thought of that. And you basically are considered smart by association, right? So it wasn't your original piece of content, but now because you shared it, that person who you shared it with will look up to you because they're like, oh, the content that he's sending me, it's actually really good. It's actually very valuable, right? So that's one reason. The second reason is if the content is in line with their core beliefs and their friends, right? So if you share something, say for example, I'm a fan of like the carnivore diet, and someone shares something about the, and my friends know that I'm a fan of the carnivore diet, they are more likely to share a video on the benefits of the carnivore diet with me because they know that I'm a fan of that specific diet, right? So this is another reason. Now, the third reason is if the content is completely against their core beliefs, so negative polarization and triggering. So in this case, it could be, I'm a fan of the carnivore diet. My friends know about it, but now they're sending me a video about the effects of the carnivore diet on the body and how this is negatively impacting my health. So because they know that I'm a fan of the diet, now they're just sending me something that's completely against it. Even if it's completely against my core belief and my preference, I'm still going to watch the video in full because it directly impacts me and my choices and my core beliefs, right? So again, it's completely against what I'm doing, but I still will watch it. And if anything, I'm more likely to actually go and check the comments because I want to know more about it. It's like, what the fuck do you mean this is wrong, or this is going to impact my health? Let me check the comments. Let me see all the other people that, enjoy the carnivore diet defend the cause, or even myself defend the cause. Yeah, that's the whole idea of shareability. So overall, people want to share their emotions with others to see if they feel the same way, right? So humans are very curious by nature. When it comes to looping, you can create very short videos, 7 to 10 seconds long, with a lot of text and a visually pleasing background. So the viewer will have to rewatch the video a few times just to be able to read your text, which will result in a high percentage of watch. And be aware this is a trend and things might change in the future. So obviously, as everything, trends might change. This is why I'm not really focusing too much on trends, because I want this to be something evergreen that you can watch in 3, 4, 5, 10 years time and just be like, oh shit, this stuff still applies. This guy is the G. He's still delivering value to me, right? So again, you can create short videos, 7 to 10 seconds long, and you can have loads of text. And by the time that they read the text, they have basically watched the whole video 4 or 5 times, right? So let's say that the whole text might take you 45 seconds to watch or 30 seconds to watch. They will have to basically watch the whole video 3 times. So your watch percentage will basically be 300%. Again, I'm not sure how this will change in the future because Instagram might penalize someone that has a super short video thinking, oh, I know exactly why this guy is doing this. I'm going to penalize them. But in 2024, it's the 30th of June. This still works. So up to you if you want to use it or not. But yeah, I'm not trying to focus too much on trends. I don't want this to become something that in 2 weeks time is going to be obsolete and no one's going to watch. So yeah. Now, so how do you make an engaging video? This is probably the most important thing. So you have 3 main blocks. So you have the hook, so grabbing people's attention, the body, where you basically try to keep them engaged, and then the call to action, where you try to ask them something that you want them to do. So the whole purpose of the hook is to break their scrolling path and get their attention. The hook can either be visual with text or audio, right? So if you say, for example, right, this is an audio hook. If you say, I don't know, it could be a text. It could just be like a red warning text at the top. So as they're scrolling, they just see this massive fucking red thing. They're like, oh shit, what is this? Let me stop, right? Then you can have something visual where it could just be, I don't know, someone dropping something on the floor, or someone jumping in a pool, I don't know, something exploding in the background. It could be anything that will make them stop scrolling and just think, oh, what the fuck was that, right? So even like the time that someone stops and thinks, what was that? That's the hook, because now they're not scrolling anymore. They're not just mindlessly scrolling. They stopped, you caught their attention, and now they're listening to you because they want more context. So the whole purpose of the hook is just to stop them from scrolling and to listen to you. Let's have a look at some winning hooks. I'm not going to ponder too much on this, but I want to give you some examples that you can maybe apply in your own thing. And again, for this, I'm basically using the whole idea of social media and growing on Instagram. So the question hook. Have you ever wondered why your Instagram posts aren't getting any views? So you're basically like making them question and trying to put on text like their thoughts, right? So you might have wondered that in the past, like, oh, why am I not getting any views? So you're basically trying to give voice to their internal questions, right? Because they might have some doubts. So this could be one hook. The next one is the bold and controversial statement. Stop doing this one thing if you want to grow your following overnight. So again, you're looking at stop doing this one thing. So you're creating intrigue, you're creating curiosity. It's like, what's this one thing that this guy's talking about to grow your following overnight? So you're also adding that, you're basically exaggerating the statement by saying growing your following overnight. So overnight here is basically exaggerating the statement. It's like, what do you mean I can grow, my following overnight? Overnight? That's so quick, right? So there's another statement that you can use as a hook. Then the story hook. So 1 year ago, I couldn't even get 100 followers. Here's what changed everything. So in this case, you're basically showing your story. You're making this more relatable. So you're basically playing on this story being relatable to other people that might be going through the same phase as you went, right? And again, this is the hook, and then you can kind of go through your whole story and just say, oh, I was struggling with Instagram as well, and then one day I found this one thing, or like I found this one method to create content on autopilot, and it helped me so much to grow, and so whatever, right? I'm just basically blabbering, and which I don't want to, but hopefully you get the idea. Now, the challenge hook. So I'm going to show you how to create a viral video in just 30 seconds. So you're exaggerating by saying create a viral video, right? So this is a big statement. A viral video is not easy to create. And you're just saying that it's going to take you only 30 seconds. Like, there are people taking hours to come up with the idea that's going to go viral, and you're going to do that in 30 seconds. So again, you're just trying to play on curiosity and see, okay, let me see what this guy has to say about creating a viral video in just 30 seconds, because this doesn't sound right. Then also the teaser hook. So what I'm about to show you could double your following in a few weeks. Again, you're just trying to create curiosity, what I'm about to show you, and basically try to give a time frame. Double your following in a few weeks. So again, it's all about creating curiosity and exaggerating, the results. And also, I think this is the last one. We have the problem solution hook. So struggling with engagement, try this one simple trick to skyrocket your interactions. This is a more classic problem solution hook. Again, I have tried this before. It does work. So you can give this a go as well. Now, when it comes to the body, Eugene Schwartz explained it the best. And he's basically saying that each line basically has to create curiosity and make you want to read the next line and the next line and the next line, right? So on the line one, he should say something that creates even more intrigue. And now you want to listen to the second line. And the second line creates even more intrigue, because like you're basically supercharging your whole video to then get to the bottom and just have that aha moment, right? So you can say, oh, this is actually a hard example. In like 3 years ago, I didn't know how to grow on social media. I was struggling to even get 100 views. And then I was using this new method that got me 1 million views in just 3 weeks. And I'm here to explain it to you if you just give me 5 minutes of your time, right? So you're just adding more and more intrigue, and you're just like supercharging the final thing. And then the call to action might just be like, so if you want to know what this is, so I'm still not giving you the answer. If you want to know what this is, then click the link below, right? So at the end, you just basically, the whole epiphany is like, okay, now I really fucking want to know what this is. And they click the link. So again, the whole purpose of the body is just to create more intrigue and more intrigue and more intrigue, to then have the call to action to, convert them or to take further actions in this case. And the call to action, as we said, call to actions are only needed if you want the viewer to take an action. Otherwise, avoid it if it doesn't make sense, as it will ruin the loop and watch time, right? So obviously, if your video is continuous, then you can have a perfect loop where people might not even realize that the video has restarted, whilst when you have the call to action, they know exactly that's the end of the video, right? So this is one thing that, just as a parenthesis, a lot of people nowadays don't realize that everyone that's on social media is far more sophisticated than they used to be 5 years ago, right? So 5 years ago, people weren't really clued up on social media. They didn't know what a call to action was. They didn't really understand how the content worked, what was the purpose, that they're being sold at basically every single second. But nowadays, they become more clued up. They know exactly what a call to action is. They know exactly the format of certain videos. So you need to become, in a way, smarter to keep them more engaged for longer without them dropping off and without them not following you, not liking your video, or not, engaging with the call to action that you have at the end. So again, you just need to be a bit more clever and not take things for granted. Now, another thing you can do to grow organically, it's auto DM. And you can use ManyChat autoresponder. So basically, this is where you can have a reel, and then you tell the viewer to DM a word at the end of the video to receive, more info, a freebie, or a specific link, right? Have the call to action to DM in the caption as well. So basically, what you're doing is you asking them, hey, you can have a 30-second video showing them the strategy that you have used, or maybe, actually, let me give you another example. You can tell them, hey, this is an automation I've been using to grow my agency and scale it from 0 to 10K a month, right? This has been an absolute fucking game changer. I have no more headaches. I have no more people, no more clients churning. Everything is automated, and my team knows exactly what to do at all times. If you want this automation, comment automation below, and I'm going to send it to you, right? So in this case, right, you can create an automation where you can insert a keyword. In this case, the keyword that I used was access, and I have it in different formats just in case someone types in a different way. But it could be anything. It could be, I don't know, mango, banana, whatever you want to add, right? And this will trigger a specific automation. So in this case, it's like user comments on your post or reel, and if they do comment this specific word, then I want you to send them this message. And in this case, it was, hey, first name, here's the link as promised. And you just send them the link to the automation to download it, right? But normally what I would recommend is to have a form to grab their email, and then now you have them in your own ecosystem. Because always remember, yes, social media is great, but you also want to have a backup. What if one day you get banned on social media? What if, Instagram is down for a day? Or what if certain things don't work as well on social media? You still want to have your own infrastructure, your own ecosystem where you can target them at all times, right? And emails are a great way to do that. So I will always recommend to, yes, this is, a way to farm more engagement on your post, because you're gonna get more comments. But at the same time, I would also recommend you to get as many emails as possible by giving people freebies, more info, specific videos, etc. Right? So you can always have them in your ecosystem and retarget them at a later stage. Now, paid growth hacks, right? So when it comes to growing on social media, any organic method is obviously free, but that means that you are at the mercy of the algorithm. So if one post doesn't go viral, if one reel, TikTok, short doesn't go viral, then going back to the acquisition funnel, you have no one at the top So there is no one to nurture. So there is no one that you can convert, right? So there is other ways that you can basically pay to grow your account, as well as, grow your infrastructure and your ecosystem. So when you pay basically for the growth, obviously you do grow faster, but that means that you also need to have some money to spend on ads. And as we already mentioned, you can use ManyChat to trigger an automated flow once someone comments on a post, DMs you, or reacts to your story. But instead of creating a conversion ad campaign, which will cost you far more money, you can create a traffic campaign on your post, right? So you essentially say, hey, I want this post to be showed to more people. Instagram, do your thing, or TikTok, do your thing, right? Just to give you a quick example, there are different ways for you to create adverts on social media. One of them is the conversion campaign. And this is basically where you say, hey, the purpose of this campaign is for people to purchase something from me, right? And those are normally more costly because Facebook or Instagram or TikTok are basically working harder to find those exact people interested in your product. However, when it comes to leads, so getting people to put their email somewhere, when it comes to just getting more views on a specific post, then it becomes a bit easier, right? Because they're basically targeting people that might not necessarily have the intent to buy, but you getting more engagement on a specific post will still give you more engagement, will still increase the chance of that post going viral organically as well. Now, far more people will react to your post, as I just said, and if your backend is strong enough, you will be able to convert way more people to your product, community, and so on. So the main thing is to run ads to a post, which will get far more views and engagement than your average ones, and get people to interact with it. Now, I know just having words that you hear might be a bit too confusing, so I just put everything on a chart. And again, I know that this might be even more confusing. So let me just explain what we have here. This is your post, which is supposedly trying to convert people onto something, right? So it could be a post showing basically some results that you have got, telling people, hey, if you want the same results, then I'm hosting a free training. Here's the training, watch it, let me know what you think about it, right? And this is basically where you're trying to convert all of your traffic. So this one post basically will send people to a link, so you can have an automation where you give people a link. So, right, let's go back from the beginning. So you have the hero post, and then you're running ads onto it, so traffic ads onto it. So you're spending money to get more views on your hero post, and you're asking them to comment a specific keyword, right? Could be access, could be automation, could be anything. And then you use the ManyChat automation to DM them a specific link where you have the call to action. Okay? So when people DM you, you have more engagement. When people comment, you have more engagement. So that signals Instagram, hey, this account is actually doing really well because his engagement is above average, right? He's getting more DMs, more interactions, because when you send people a link, if you do it properly, then you can also get a response back and you can start creating a whole conversation besides them just getting the link from you. So you have more engagement, more keyword, more comments under from your hero post. And when you get more engagement on your post, then that also signals to the platform that your post is doing really well, right? So you get even lower CPM, which is cost per 1,000 impressions. So your cost per Facebook ads or TikTok ads or whatever platform you're using will go down even further, right? So now when you're running ads, instead of having a cost of say $15 per 1,000 impressions, now it might be $5 or $3, right? So you're getting even more traffic that will, comment more keywords, and that will trigger more automations, and then you can convert even more, and eventually you will make more money. So if you have a very strong backend, you can make a lot of money. If you have an automated system to deliver emails to people, then you can really make a lot of money, right? You can convert far more people than you think. So this is basically the whole paid growth flow that you can use by implementing ManyChat. Now, let's talk about conversion window. So a lot of people think that it's always a one-to-one thing. So, I'm showing you the ad today, and today I want you to go through the whole flow. I'm going to send you this link and you're going to buy or you're going to sign up. And that's not how it works, right? So there are people that might need more nurturing. They might need more proof, more case studies for them to make a decision, right? So now that you have them in your flow, so they DM'd you, you have an interaction with them, you might even get a follow from them because, I'm very interested in what you're doing, but I'm not entirely sure. So now they're in your newsletter, they can see your highlights, they can see your stories. So in your stories, if you're good enough at showing proof, in your highlights, if you have strong highlights showing, your whole journey, showing testimonials, showing proof, showing results. And if in your newsletter, you can show them a longer format of what you have in your highlights and stories, and eventually even testimonials, etc., then at some point you might convert them. So this might not be instant. It might take 30, 60, 90, or 180 days, right? So you have different conversion windows. And hence why this whole flow, it's basically perpetual. So you're starting today and you might see results in 90 days. From a metrics point of view, it might be harder for you to track how well this is doing, because you might be spending $5 today and see $100 in 6 months. Now, how can you attribute that $5 to $100 in 6 months? It's extremely hard. Again, it's a whole system that will work perpetually if you keep spending money, and if you have a very strong backend where you can funnel people into it and eventually convert them with stories, highlights, and newsletters. Cool. Now let's talk about AI, because everyone probably wants to hear about AI. So first of all, ChatGPT. So most people, that's a big mistake for me. Most people underutilize it, and most people don't know how to use it properly. So use cases. So you can create videos based on your style. Content planning, so you can plan content a bit easier. So you can have past ideas, and then you can say, hey, based on these ideas, can you create even more ideas for me? You can improve your copy when selling. You can create ideas for stories, create newsletters, improve scripts, or anything else you do, right? So it's basically your personal assistant. It's going to work with you 24/7 and help you 24/7 to get better results with anything that you do social media wise, right? And selling as well, and everything pretty much. Like I use it for absolutely everything. Now, this is how you can create your own GPT. So you can just go into configure. You can add instructions. You can add knowledge. So it could be past scripts that you have used. And you can have scripts from other people, right? So you can have somebody that transcribes someone else's script, have, 100 of them. And then after that, you can just put everything down in a file, upload it, and that's how you have basically your own script, right? So you have your own GPT trained to create scripts for Instagram videos or TikTok videos, right? It's super simple. But instead of you having to think all the time, what's going to be the next video? I don't know, I have no idea, I don't have any video ideas, I'm struggling. Then you can just outsource this to ChatGPT. Does that mean that the content is not going to be good? Well, it all depends on you and how good you are at refining this GPT to get you great results. When it comes to instructions, as we said, add specific detailed instructions based on the type of content you need. And in knowledge, as we said, upload scripts for viral videos of competitors. Now, this is what we created for Utopic. Yeah, the name in this case, Utopic Shorts, short form creative AI designed by Utopic Labs. A curated AI model that can fully analyze and interpret logically and emotionally every detail of the script of the short form videos from the document video script added in knowledge library. And can then come up with different brand new concepts, laws and ideas, blah, 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 right? So I'm not going to read the whole thing. And basically in here, just by saying create a new winning short form video, you have a whole video, like a whole script for a video. That's actually really good. I'm not going to stop too much on this, but if you're trying to create something that's a bit more on the mindset, biohacking, motivation stuff, then this is actually a really, really good way for you to create content at scale that could also be decent and well told, right? Because I feel like creating content, having a very good storyline is probably the hardest thing, because it requires you a lot of creativity. And creativity, especially if you're busy throughout the day, if you're tired, creativity can lack at times. The next one is 11 Labs. So with 11 Labs, you can basically upload your script. You have ChatGPT that creates your script. Then you have 11 Labs that basically uses AI voices that sound extremely natural to basically create the voice for your videos. So the most important thing is, okay, now you have the script that's very well crafted, and you also now have a voice of an actor, basically, right? That speaks out that script. So half of your video is pretty much done, right, at this point. That was all for AI. Obviously, there is other things, but I don't want to go too much in depth into it. I don't feel like it's going to be really useful, but those two things are the main ones that we used when we were growing on Lifer, and we use them nowadays as well to kind of like scale our businesses and our social media pages. Now, next one, it's monetization. I'm gonna have this graph where I look at different ways to monetize your social media, right? So I'm gonna categorize them by effort, scalability, consistency, and profitability. First of all, we have affiliate and sponsored. In terms of effort, it's actually really low, because you just literally need a link. That's all you need, right? So you have a link, or you have someone sponsoring you, and you just need to do a video about whatever they've given you. In terms of effort, it's relatively low. In terms of scalability, it's medium. It's not as scalable as people think. Yes, you can make money with it, but it's also depending on the algorithm, on your audience as well. So once you have exhausted your audience, unless it's something that's recurring, it's a bit tricky. When it comes to consistency, it's low. Again, it really depends on how scalable it is, what's your audience like, how much they trust you, etc. Finally, when it comes to profitability, it's medium, because you're basically just taking a chunk of whatever the price is. So if you're trying to sell something for $100, then the maximum that you'll probably get, unless it's something digital that doesn't have any cost of goods sold, you're probably looking at 20 to 30% in the best cases, right? So in terms of profitability, it's not bad, but it really depends, because the more high you go, so yes, you're going to make more profit, profit margin might be higher if you're selling something more expensive, but also the amount of people that you can sell it to decreases drastically. So if you're selling something for $10, yes, it's an impulse buy, so you might have more people buying it. When it comes to $100, people will start thinking twice before buying something. So it can be a bit tricky. Next one, we have community. In terms of effort, it's medium, simply because first of all, you need some knowledge, right? So if you're starting a community, you need some degree of knowledge. It requires consistent attention from you. So it's not something that you create once and then you can just keep replicating, driving traffic into it. You need to build that traffic, as well as you nurturing your community, right? It's a consistent effort. When it comes to scalability, again, medium. It really depends. If you have a faceless brand, it might be even harder, because people might not resonate with your brand as much. People don't resonate with brands as much as they resonate with people. But again, it could be relatively scalable depending on how good you are at interacting and nurturing your audience. When it comes to consistency, again, you're at the mercy of the algorithm. So if the algorithm favors you, then you're doing well. If not, then might be tricky. But you can do other things to keep it relatively consistent. Then finally, profitability is high, because you don't have any upfront costs besides the platform where you're hosting your community. So if you're doing something in Discord, it's going to be most likely free. But if you're looking at, for example, school, then it's going to cost you, I believe, $97 a month. So there is some degree of cost involved into it, but it's nothing too crazy. If you're looking at, say, for example, 100 people paying you $30 a month, then you're looking at $3,097. Doesn't really seem like a lot of a lot of money. Then we have e-com. So in terms of effort, it's high. You're really looking at it's a whole business. Like, people don't really realize. Everyone nowadays seems to make this sound like the easiest thing ever, but it's not. You need to look at supply. You need to find the right supplier. So you need to be able to deliver things in a quick way. Otherwise, especially now with Amazon Prime, it's really hard for you to keep consistent with these brands with these companies when they do next day delivery, and your product might take 2 weeks, right? And you also need to find the right product. So you might end up spending a lot of money just to test the right product. Now, when it comes to scalability, it's very high. You can literally go as broad as you want, right? You can scale it to the whole world, especially if you start looking internationally. Consistency, it's high as well, especially when you start introducing ads, not just organic. And then finally, you have profitability. So profitability is medium, simply because you have always cost of goods sold. So you're taking a percentage. And yes, if you're doing it organically, then say, for example, your product is $100, $30 might be your cost of goods sold, $30 might be your ad spend if you're doing it the paid route, and then $30 might be your, $33, whatever, might be your actual profit. So you're looking at 30% profit margin. Whilst if you're doing it organically, then you're looking at 60% profit margin and 30% cost of goods sold on a $100 product. Whilst if you're doing paid, it's probably a 30-30-30 split. So 30% cost of goods sold, 30% paid ads, and 30% profit margin. Finally, digital products. This is actually what we went for when it came to Lifer. This was the most obvious choice for us. So in terms of effort, it's medium, because you still need to create a product. You still need some degree of expertise, you need some design skills, you need some information that you can actually sell to people. So in terms of effort, it's medium. Scalability, it's high. You can sell organically as well as with paid ads. So you can really scale as much as you want. Consistency, again, it's high, because if you have a blend of organic as well as paid ads, then you can really do really well, especially if you can test things with organic and then run ads on those posts, then decrease even further your cost per acquisition. And yeah, you just get super consistent results. Then finally, you have profitability. And this is high as well, because it's a digital product, you don't actually have any cost involved, right? So I actually forgot, when it comes to e-com, you also need to consider shipping. A lot of people don't consider that at all. But if I'm in the US and I'm trying to deliver something in the UK, you also have customs, right? So you have customs extra fees, and you also have shipping costs. And you need to really think, who's going to absorb that cost? Is it going to be the customer, or is it going to be me as a company? When it comes to digital products, you actually get full 100% profit margin, because it's digital, and most importantly, you get the product instantly. It's just a download, right? It's a download, it's an access to, it could be like a SaaS, it could be anything, right? Actually, a SaaS wouldn't really qualify as a digital product, but you basically get access to it instantly, and that's what matters. And this is why sometimes it's an impulse buy, right? It's the same way as, I'm really craving a certain food. If I can order it now, if I can have it in front of me now, I will just do it. But if I have to wait 2 days to get that food, it might not be as appetizing for me, because maybe I'm not really craving that anymore, right? Yeah, that's pretty much all the ways that you can kind of monetize your social media. The question that you might ask yourself is, which one? So when it comes to affiliate and sponsors, so this is one page, Luke Belmar Wisdom, and the main thing that they're kind of promoting is Capital Club. And again, all the posts are around Luke Belmar. He's the main face behind Capital Club. So obviously, all the efforts are to convert people, to sign them up on the Capital Club. Now, when it comes to community, this is a guy, it's actually really funny. But basically, the whole idea behind this, it's him creating very funny videos that go super viral. Like this one got 220,000 likes. He got millions and millions and millions of views simply because it's really funny, right? And as part of this, he's also converting people into his community, where he's helping people lose weight, get in shape, etc. So all of his videos are basically just funny. They're just there to grab attention. And sometimes he's just selling on his stories, saying, hey, by the way, also, if you want to lose weight, I have this community, which is great. I'd love to have you there. And sometimes people, they literally just go there for, just for the fun of it, just because they enjoyed this guy, right? Him talking, etc. So again, he's starting the whole acquisition by being funny, because he knows that this will go super viral. And then he just funnels people inside by just having stories and nurturing them. Now, this is another brand. This is ecom. So this is all organic. selling some t-shirts, some basically sweatshirts, etc. And again, this is doing really well as well, all organic. So, advertising costs. And yeah, again, great example of how you can implement e-commerce well within social media. And actually having a brand on social media is super important, especially if you want to progress into advertising, because your advertising costs will go down drastically the more engagement you have and the more seasoned your account is. And we've seen this with Lifer as well, when we started running paid ads, that our costs just, that are really, really low, simply because we had such a big following. We had good engagement on our posts, etc. So don't discredit, even if you want to start a brand and you say, oh, but I don't want to really focus on social media, I just want to focus more on ads. That's all good in games, but having a social media presence will still lower your cost per acquisition. So you actually end up bringing home more profit. And finally, digital products. This is what we had. This is how we were basically driving traffic. Again, we're driving traffic from just different videos, from podcasts, all around, mindset, motivation, biohacking, etc. And our whole digital product was around these things. So that was our way of monetizing things. That sounded for us the most, obvious way to do it, because we had the time to actually create a digital product. And at the end of it, we built the expertise to create these digital products and refine them, where people found them super valuable. Our whole funnel was really well crafted and converted really well as well. So that was our way of selling digital products. Now, let's see how you can sell on Instagram and TikTok organically. We have another full masterclass on how to sell through ads as well. So yeah, if that's something that interests you, this is going to be, again, probably 1.5 2 hour long masterclass. Everything that literally we have done in the past 2 years to create digital products, to find what digital products will sell the best, which digital products will bring the most return, which ones will convert the best, and how to actually create digital products for a specific niche, right? So in there, you'll find literally everything: how to create them, how to find the right audiences, how to create content for it, how to create a website, and how to post your, basically the whole back end of you creating the digital product, you selling it, you getting the profits, and the whole flow. Let's have a look at Instagram. So find a good balance for selling on stories. So I wouldn't really do this more than 2 to 3 times a week, simply because you don't want to oversaturate your audience with selling, because at some point they will just be bored of you. The whole idea is that you need to create initial engagement to get the maximum number of story views. So you can do this through polls, Q&A, social proof, and lifestyle, right? So you need a hook on your story. So the first story should be a hook for engagement. So in this case, it could be a poll, or as we said, a hook. It could be a lifestyle. It could be, you just asking a question, people replying, and you getting them engaged now. So the second story should be around mentioning the problem. So outlining the problem of these people, like what problem are they facing? Are they lacking followers? Are they lacking money? Are they lacking clients? If maybe they have an agency or something. So what's the actual main reason why they're following you? If you're someone that's within the agency industry, then the main issue probably that they're facing is, we don't have enough clients, so I need more clients, right? So this is where you can outline that, saying, are you struggling to get clients? I used to be the same as you. And then you show them the solution. So this is how I get clients consistently, without me having to break the bank, without me having to run ads or post cringe videos on Instagram. And this is where you show the solution stage. Then you show testimonials as well of people using your new method, right? And them getting results with your new method. So this will bring you authority plus show proof of concept. It will bring you authority in the first place, because other people will say, oh yeah, Alex, he's the fucking G when it comes to client acquisition. He's like the best guy in the industry. I've seen, we were stuck at 2 clients, and then after working with him, we're at 20. One testimonial like that will just do far more than you just trying to just go on and on and on about how good your product is. And finally, on the 5th story, you should close the deal. So this is where you say, hey, if you want the same results as Mark, then you should click the link below. I can show you exactly, there is a whole training. I can show you exactly the method that we're using. And if you're interested to working with us, then this is how you should, this is where you can basically apply to work with us. Now, the second way of using stories to sell is the lifestyle. So I've seen quite a lot of people nowadays using this, and obviously you can use it where it makes sense. So in this case, everything that you're using, everything that you're showing in story 1, 2, 3, 4 is basically lifestyle and results, right? So it's like, oh, I'm getting this lifestyle from these results. So I'm getting these results for my clients, or for if you're a personal trainer, for example, oh, I'm getting all of these results for these people. Oh, this guy has lost 30 kg. This guy has lost 15 kg. Oh, this guy has run a half marathon. This guy has run 1 marathon. It's like all of these results. So results. And then finally say, hey, by the way, this is, on discount at the moment. If you want to get in, this is your chance, right? So I think from an awareness perspective, this is more towards those people that already know who you are. They know exactly what you're doing, and they're just there waiting for the perfect opportunity to jump in and work with you, right? So in this case, you can just say, hey, by the way, I know, you might want the same results as these guys. If that's you, then I have a discount for you. I don't normally do this very often. Here's where you can see, here's where you can work with us. Now, sell using Reels. And then again, this is a ManyChat autoresponder. Again, I'm not going to ponder too much on this, but it's the same kind of idea when you do it for organic. So, you have your Reels. You can ask them to comment a word below and then trigger the whole flow. So this is another way that you can use Reels to basically sell to others. Finally, sell using your profile. You can have tagline. So live fast, don't wait, discover the power of brotherhood. So in this case, you're basically defining the benefit and desire, and then have a call to action below. You can also use highlights as a funnel. So as we mentioned before, you can use highlights to show proof of what you're doing, like everything that you're doing actually does work. Show your lifestyle. So as a result of me doing these things, as a result of me becoming good at XYZ, this is the lifestyle that has achieved me. And you can say, you can also show, again, results, reviews, case studies. So you can say, oh, by the way, this was Mark. This is before working with us. This is him after working with us. He went from 2K a month to 20K a month. And then you can also present the problem, solution, and call to action. So the whole problem, solution, call to action flow. So say, hey, by the way, this is Mark. He was struggling with this. Then he applied our acquisition method and he got 20 clients. If you're interested to achieving the same thing, just, we have this offer for you. If you don't get as many clients as Mark, then I'm going to give you your money back plus 1K. If you're really sure about your offers. Now, let's have a look at TikTok. So in terms of TikTok monetization, when it comes to selling through TikTok, you don't have the privilege of interacting with your audience through stories because they never get shown to your audience, right? So when it comes to Instagram, you can use your stories to kind of like nurture them, sell them onto something. Whilst when it comes to TikTok, it's a bit harder. We've tried that. Out of 830,000 followers that we had on TikTok. Basically, I think we saw 3,000 views out of 830,000, only 3,000 views. It's ridiculous. So TikTok definitely doesn't prioritize stories, at least not now on the 30th of June, 2024. However, that does not mean that you cannot monetize your audience. With Lifer, we haven't focused much on TikTok for conversions. We just used it to validate the product by using the link in bio. I want to give you exactly the whole flow that we used to validate the product. So we had a guide that will help people sleep better. It was basically a 100 something pages guide on how to improve your sleep. So anything that had to do with biohacking, different stages of you sleeping, the tools that you can use, the whole routine that you need to apply before going to bed to have a better sleep, temperature in the room, like literally everything. And we basically had that one video of Matthew Walker talking about sleep, and he was basically saying, hey, if you don't sleep properly, then there is a higher chance of you getting a heart attack. So a lot of people were like, oh, fuck, I don't want to get a heart attack. What's the solution to this? And we said, hey, by the way, check the link in bio, have a sleep guide for you. And we put that at the beginning at $9.99. And in one day, I think we sold 70 or 80. So we made like $900 in one day just from that one video. For us was not just us making some money, but it was also proof of concept. We're like, oh shit, okay, this works. Imagine if we can double down on these guys and actually make even more content and maybe expand our range of guides and then try to sell to people, also paid, not just organic. So we were like, okay, there is definitely demand for these things. Let's try to double down on it and see how it goes. And it ended up making us $140,000. So yeah, good story. However, here's a few examples of ways to make money with TikTok. So the first way to monetize your account is through TikTok series. In this case, you can see this. It's basically like a mini guide on how to make your first $1,000 per month with TikTok. And it's 8 videos, and this other one, it's 11 videos. It's only £2, right? But keep an eye on this. It's 569 reviews at £2. So this series made at least £1,500, so around $2,000. But on average, only 10% of the people actually leave a review. So just to estimate this, I think it probably got 5,000 purchases. So at £2 each, that's what, $12,000 in total of revenue just generated from this mini series, right? And these 8 videos, they're like 23 minutes. So I'm giving you a two hour probably, masterclass on social media, and this guy made a 23-minute guide and made $12,000. So I guess work smarter, not harder. But anyways, the first way to monetize, so you basically create the short educational series of videos that people can buy in app. And again, this is a super fucking clever way for you to monetize your account, especially if you're getting loads of views and people want to know, oh, how is this guy getting so many views? If you can create a guide on like, this is how I get millions of views using TikTok. This is how I made $9,000 with the creativity program. This is how I made $90,000 with the creativity program. Imagine how many purchases you will have, right? It could be a very great way for you to make money with TikTok without having to send people links, etc. Now, as I said, these 2 series made over $10,000 with over 600 plus reviews complexively. And no, you don't have to only charge £2 and 1p in this case. So you can obviously charge for this £5 or £10, right? The more it feels like an impulse buy, the more likely you are to get more purchases. But again, you could be charging £5 for this and it's probably $7. If you sell 1,000 of them, that's $7,000 that you made just from probably 50 minutes of your effort. So something that you can think about for sure. Now, next one is TikTok Shop. So the second way to monetize your account is by using the TikTok Shop and getting a percentage of the sales that you generate. For example, if your account is focused on the biohacking, motivation, mindset, etc., you could try to sell supplements that will make people more focused. Let's have a look at a practical example. In this case, you have Shilajit, and this is a supplement that in theory should improve your testosterone, stress levels, aging effects, etc. Essentially an all-in-one supplement to improve your performance. And you can also make £5 or approximately $6 for each sale you make. So if you were to promote this product, you're essentially selling it for £25, and for each one that you sell, you'll be making £5. Right? So if you sell 100 of them, that's £500 that you make. And in total, keep this in mind, 10.3 thousand sold already. So big money. So with Lifer, we had many videos getting 1 million plus views and as high as 17 million views. So even if you have a conversion rate of 0.01%, which is extremely low, for each 1 million views, you should be selling 100 units or £500 or $600. So literally you could have one video going viral in one day and you could be making $600. So this is how you can really monetize, how you can leverage TikTok without you having to send people on links, etc. Thirdly, you can have the TikTok creativity program. So besides the TikTok shop and the series, the platform also pays you for the amount of views that you can receive on your videos. So normally the amount is dictated by the stat called RPM, or revenue per mil, which basically stands for revenue per 1,000 views. And this can vary from 20 cents to $1 depending on location and industry. However, here's the caveat. You need to first have 10,000 followers on your account to be accepted, and you also need to create 1 minute plus long videos to be eligible. However, Viewers don't have to watch it in full. In fact, if they watch at least 7 seconds, the video will be accounted for. And yes, you can make a lot of money if you are good with hooks and keeping people around, because as we mentioned before, watch time and engagement are the two key variables for virality. So again, I don't want you to think, oh, I only need to keep them around for 7 seconds. There is like the other side of the coin, right? So the more you keep them engaged, if you can keep them engaged at least for 25%, for a 1 minute video will be 15 seconds. If you can keep people around for 15 seconds, then you have a super high chance of your video going super viral and you making a lot of money. Again, yes, you do need to focus on hooks, engagement, retention, and to keep them around for at least 7 seconds. But ideally, you should be aiming for 15 seconds if you want the video to go super viral. Now, here's an example of a friend's account that did quite well with his TikTok account and doing exactly what we just said. And yes, that's 93K in 7 days. All you need is hooks plus high engagement. And yeah, $93,230, spot 14 for 7 days of work. And you can see down here, this is the RPM. So we're looking at 93 cents per 1,000 impressions, and it got 1 million impressions in total. If you do the maths, 100 million impressions times 93 divided by 1,000, we're looking at $93,230 for 7 days. Not too bad. Now, that was the result of over 150 million views. And yes, out of... All right, guys, really sorry for the quick break. Basically, I finished the video and then my editor came back to me and he said, well, the last part of your video sounded like shit, so re-record it. So here I am re-recording it. It's basically 1 week later and yeah, just recorded the second part, right? Now, where were we? We said that my friend managed to get 93K out of TikTok, and that was basically as a result of him getting 150 million views, right? One thing I want you to understand is that getting 150 million views doesn't necessarily mean that you will be getting 100 million, 150 million qualified views. So qualified views and normal views are two different things. And in this case, he got 100 million qualified views. And as much as I would like to think that everyone can achieve those results, getting 150 million views in 7 days, the reality is that you won't be able to do so consistently, right? So you might have, a few videos in a row just going super viral and you're getting a massive payout, and then for the next 2 months, maybe just make a few K a month. That's why you can definitely generate 2 to 10K a month with a creativity program if you know how to create good content. And that's exactly what I'm trying to show you here. I'm trying to show you exactly how to use the hook, how to create a good body, how to, have a good call to action at the end, or maybe create loops to increase engagement, etc. Right? I'm not really focusing too much on the editing side, just simply because that's way too specific and I wouldn't be able to give you tailored advice, right? I don't know your industry. I don't know what will work best for your specific industry. But generally speaking, this is the right format and this is exactly what I'm giving you. Now, my question to you is, why do you want to basically grow on social media? What's the main driver behind you wanting to get more likes, more views, grow your social media account, get followers, etc.? And obviously my assumption would be that you want to make more money and have some degree of financial freedom. You want to be able to travel, to go see places. You don't have to be so dependent on a specific location, especially if you're used to having a 9-to-5 job. I do understand that some people get paid well, and that gives them a good life, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they are free. It doesn't necessarily mean that if they wake up tomorrow and they want to go travel South America, they can do so just by working on the laptop, right? So you're always restricted in one single location, and the beauty of what we're doing is that you don't have to, right? If you can make 3 to 4K a month just selling digital products, or maybe just making money from social media in general, then you will be able to travel the world. You'll be able to go in places where 3 to 4K a month will get you a long way, rather than, for example, I live in London, everything is super expensive, but at the same time, if I were to have the same salary or the same amount of money earned that I have from here in South America, or maybe if I'm making 3 to 4K a month from my business in South America or in Thailand or in Bali, then I will be living like an absolute king. And that's what I want you guys to do. The old way of making money is gone, right? So we are living in a digital gold rush. We we have access to technology. We are now decentralized, and we can basically earn money from everywhere in the world. That's why the whole concept of you being in a specific location to be able to make money, to be able to get a salary, I think is just, something from the past. I don't think your location should matter should have a saying in how much money you should be making on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis. So nowadays we can basically do everything online. We can communicate with people. We can make money online. We don't have to necessarily be in a specific location. That's the beauty of it. And obviously it will be an absolute, it will be an absolute shame for you to not take advantage of these times. And obviously, as we discussed earlier, it has never been easier to make money with social media. And there are many ways that you can do it. You can do it through affiliates and sponsors, community, e-com, and digital products. And for us, the one that worked the best was digital products. We tried affiliates and sponsors, we tried community, we tried e-com as well, and we went as far as trying agency as well. All of these were good to a certain extent, but then again, it's never as easy as people make it look on social media or on YouTube or everywhere that you see. You might have seen some sort of event, etc. Every single other business model does work, and I'm not saying it doesn't. Every other way of monetizing does work because others have done it successfully. But what really worked for us, what really gave us the biggest leverage and the biggest results was digital products. Simply because the initial effort to create a digital product wasn't too high, and scalability, consistency, and profitability were extremely high compared to all the other options. And once we cracked the whole framework and the whole ecosystem of how to start and how to scale digital products, we went from absolutely zero to 30K a month in roughly 60 days, right? So the whole evolution of how much you can scale your digital product, it's out of the normal, right? You will not be able to do the same thing with e-commerce unless you have super high budgets. You will not be able to do the same thing with community unless you already have a massive audience, and then you can leverage that. And obviously you will not be able to do that with affiliates because you will need a huge amount of an audience. You will need a huge amount of views to be able to do that, right? So for us, digital products was the absolute best option. And this digital product business is exactly what we're trying to teach within Utopic Labs, right? So we already have some students. We'll help them to kind of follow our path. We're basically showing them everything that we have achieved and we have done in the past year and a half. Right, and in that you obviously find everything that we have discussed today. So ChatGPTs, scripts, tutorials, you'll find templates. You will basically have all the tools and knowledge that you will need to, first of all, attract attention, and secondly, monetize it with digital products. And again, if that's something that interests you, then obviously we'll see you there. Because we also want to help people that maybe don't have a budget, maybe don't have the money to be able to join. We have created a full 2-hour masterclass on digital products. So everything that you need to know to be able to find the right product, start, scale it, and get profits consistently, right? So Gladys will basically show you everything that you need to know to be able to get from absolutely zero to get your first 10K a month with digital products, right? This is the exact path that we took with Lifer when we first started, and we sold up to 35K. I think the best month that we have was $37,000 with our digital product. And again, this could happen just in the space of a few months. I'm not saying that you should expect that to happen in the next few months, but once you have all the knowledge, you going from absolutely zero to seeing at least 10K a month, it shouldn't take that long. And again, if you are interested to watch this video, then you can find it up here. And yeah, with that being said, I will see you there.